everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by MSOTD. Rocks, we're rocking metal thrive. Wishing you guys a happy, again, close to the end of the year. We are almost through 2020. And we've got an incredible episode for you once again. This is our 5th episode with MVK Music Group bands, and they are absolutely incredible. I said bands. Yes, I did. Not fans. Bands. And this one comes to you out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The band Ventruss with their southern flair on hard rock and heavy metal. Trust me, you guys want to listen to these guys. When Ben and Jesse join the show, I want to give Ben and Jesse a huge amount of thank you for this episode because I had an incredible time with this conversation. I know you will as well, where we talk about all these different concert stories, all these different mosh pit stories, and also really talk about why so many bands can be on so many different tours, and it works out so damn well because, again, it all depends upon how the energy flows. Also want to thank these guys as well for being on because they were absolutely troopers through this. I mean, I know it's warm down there, boys, but thank you for being on the show. Please welcome Jesse and Ben from the band Ventruss. Are you guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast, this is part number 5 of our interview series with the MVK Music Group bands. And we got yet another one. They're coming out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and they've got this southern hard rock and metal mix in there, influenced by bands like Trivium, Avenged Sevenfold, and All That Remains. Yes, I looked this up to make sure that I got this right, and if I didn't, they're going to make fun of me for it. So please look at the guys from Ventruss. So guys, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
What's up?
Well,
How are you?
You're not making fun of me at this point, so I think I got that right. Yay!
Yeah,
you got it.
Later.
Good. Well, this is always one way I like to start out these podcasts, especially with bands that I like to get people in the know with, just a little bit more on your guys' side as well. So I'm going to go from one of you guys to the next, and we're just going to see how this goes. So I want you to introduce yourselves with these 3 things. The first 2 are easy. The last one's always the funnest. First, want to know what your name is. Second, want to know what you do in the band. And third, I want to know, go on full on like, high school, like welcome week of college stuff, like I want to know a little fun fact about yourself. But the key is I want to be the wackiest thing that you guys can think of, the wackiest fun fact. I've had people tell me about their famous like Twitter cats or Instagram dogs or their like YouTube personality careers before they were in bands. My favorite is always the Tinder bio. So I've actually had a lot of people give me their Tinder bios. Those are always the best. And then I always share mine as well because, well, why not? But I'll let you guys take it away. Whoever wants to start.
I'll go first. My name is Ben Jewell. I am the singer of the band Ventruss. Funny, wacky fact about me, man. I got a few of those actually. I guess one thing that kind of makes me stand out is whenever I was 6 years old, I was on our local news station for naming all of the presidents in not alphabetical order, in order of like when they were president. The videos on YouTube. It was right after George Bush got elected, so it's around 2001. So yeah, that's a wacky fun fact. A fun Tinder bio is I do have, because I'm 6'8", that I have a little pointer that says if you have low ceiling fans, to make sure you swipe left because those things are scary.
Oh my god, I didn't know idea that you were 6'8". I mean, that is insane. You could probably dunk on every other lead singer of every other band that you see.
That's right. And they're all going to be crying because they just got dunked on.
Oh, God. And we even got the Tinder bio in there, too. This is already making me a happy man with this podcast. But now, Jesse, you got to top that, man.
Oh, man. It's hard to top Ben. I mean, he's 6'8". Dude's giant. So, yeah. So I'm Jesse Newman. I play guitar and backup vocals in the band. I don't really have like something weird about me. I mean, I'm just a weird person in general. Like I don't know any really big like facts like as a kid, or I can't top Ben. That's just like cool as fuck. But there is an inside joke going around that I was once a former Christian rapper and I spit bars for the Lord himself. Nah.
I mean, you're kind of letting me down right there because that sounds like it would be something incredibly interesting as a fun fact. I mean, if you could just put out a quick little Christian rap album and then it could be completely true.
Honestly, I actually thought about it. I was like, do I actually want to do that? Like, do I want to put myself out there like that? Do I want to promote myself as a Christian rapper? And there was a few times where I was telling Ben, I was like, you know what? I should just maybe one song, just like spitting bars,
And just I'll say just follow the formula that South Park put out with the Christian songs. All you have to do is take a popular song and change the word baby to Jesus.
It worked for Creed.
Yeah, worked for Creed.
It worked for Creed.
Worked for Creed.
Oh well, but
wait, hold on. Who's that guy in South Park? Who does like the weird noises, like
Oh, Jimmy?
Huh?
Jimmy? Yeah, Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy. Yeah. He's my favorite one. That shit's hilarious.
I just tell this every time. He's just like, you're a continuing source of inspiration. We'll say, I don't think she got the message.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, because Ben gave his Tinder bio, I feel like I have to reciprocate, and I want to make sure I get this right. So let me pull out my phone real quick because I've had it on there for, God, I think at least ever since I was in like maybe a senior in college. Or no, not a senior in college, because I was in a relationship at the time. After I got out of that relationship and I put it back on. So I just want to make sure I get it right because it is one of my favorites. And all my bio says is, a blind woman once told me I looked like her son.
I don't know how I would take that.
And that is actually a true story at the same time as well.
Wow. Okay. Hey, that's always a plus whenever you can use a funny Tinder bio as a true thing.
It happened at a grocery store about 5-6 years ago. I was putting out, I was stocking beer because that was my summer job, like in between school years in college. And some woman just came up and told me that, and I looked at her, and she was blind and had like the cane. I'm just thinking, wait a minute. And you said, I look like you're, how do you know this? Just, I was perplexed for like 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know if it was real, but I'm just going to take it as a joke, but it is fantastic.
That's a great compliment.
It really is, and I take it in full stride. And I've had people ask me, it's like, what was that like? And they're like, or it's like, oh, haha, funny joke. I'm like, no, that's actually a true story. It really is.
Damn.
But enough about crazy Tinder bios and low ceiling fans and Christian rap albums. Even though that sounds absolutely fantastic. All of a sudden, just rapping. All of a sudden, every time you say something like "baby," just all of a sudden, yeah, Jesus, Lord and Savior. Something like that. But let's actually talk about Ventruss, because that seems like why we're here, and that's really what we want to get people into is your music. So, and I almost just knocked my whole entire microphone set off, and that would have been awkward. But you know what? We would have kept rolling anyway. I held it and then like, okay, so we gotta keep going. But so when it comes to Ventruss, first thing I want to know is how did this whole entire thing get started? Because I was trying to find as much information as I could about the band to talk about it with you guys, but there wasn't a lot that I could find. So I want to know the story. How did Ventruss come to form?
Okay, how much time we got? Let's see. Okay, so all right, so the band was conceived in 2012. It was kind of branched off from the band that I had started previously, my sophomore year of high school, which was called Embrace Goodbye. I found a new set of members, and we understood that we didn't want that name, and we needed something different, something that like represented us. And we came up with the name Ventruss. And what Ventruss means is Ventruss is where we started practicing in Ventruss, Louisiana. However, it's spelled differently. Ventruss, Louisiana is Ventress, and obviously our band is Ventruss. So that was about my senior year of high school. We've gone through numerous lineup changes, and this lineup that we have now has been together for about 2 years now, as a whole unit. So yeah, we started in 2012, played shows here and there, and we played House of Blues, New Orleans, all over the Southeast, Southwest, making a name for ourselves, playing with national bands such as Hell Yeah, All There Remains, Puddle of Mud, even Cannibal Corpse, even. And, we've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations and a lot of hardships, with members and just things not coming our way. But, we held on to our own ground. And here we are 8 years later, almost 9, fighting the power and keeping our band alive and keeping this entire project alive. Because, I've had a vision in it, even whenever the band started, that I just knew something was special about this. And I really just did not want to let it go. So I didn't even want to, even though I'm the only one left, I didn't want to take, and I didn't even come up with the name also, but I didn't want to take that. I didn't want to throw away the name and start something different. I've already kept this brand the way it is. And why change it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Obviously this band has been broken many times, but we fixed it. And here we are today. And man, there's a lot we can really say.
It's been a while.
To keep it to the bare minimum. We've been together for 8 years. We've always been based out of Baton Rouge or the Baton Rouge area. And we're here to make some noise and get out there.
Well, definitely it seems like that with making some noise again with those bands that you mentioned, playing with bands like Hell Yeah, All That Remains, specifically because I saw that influenced by All That Remains. It had to be some great connection right there. And whenever I think of All That Remains, I still think of the song 6 because it was like a bonus song, Guitar Hero 2. My brother would just not stop playing. Yep. I'm just like, okay, dude, can we play just like a different, or it might have been Guitar Hero 3. I don't remember which one. It was 2 or 3 it was on there. That's all where I remember. Most of the time it was 2. Okay. So I'm like, it was either on the same one that Per the Refugee Rise Against was on as a bonus track, or it wasn't. I just didn't.
No, that was
3. Yeah,
that was 3. 6 was 2. I think 2 also had Beast and the Harlot, John the Fisherman. Shoot, what else?
Monkey Wrench it had on there.
Mine's by Shadows Fall is on there. And then 3 had
Megadeth.
What's that?
They had Megadeth on there.
Oh yeah, 18.
Got to throw them boys in.
Oh
Can't leave out Papa.
No, you cannot. But it seems like one thing that ended up happening was you had that vision in with this band where it had definitely more of a hard sound to it, because with that initial band name that you had, what was it, Embrace Goodbye? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm not going to lie, that does sound like a great name for like an alt-rock band, just because it has a little bit more of this softer, maybe just a little bit more calmer feel to it at the same time as well. But then you get Ventruss and just kind of like that just Ventruss kind of thing. It kind of just has that initial hard feel to it, so that you definitely can get that harder sound coming through it. And it's something that when people look at the name, not going to lie, that's going to be one thing that they're expecting right away, is just from the suffix on it, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We felt like even as being young and, most of them were fresh out of high school, I was still in high school. We knew that Embrace Goodbye did not fit what we were trying to do. So, and we wanted something, one word, simple, and something that meant something to us. And Ventruss, just so happened to be that. And Ventruss, Louisiana was like where my grandparents lived when I was a kid. They don't live there anymore, but like, it was just so like, I would have never thought that like that little bitty place with like not even 1,000 people would, like have this much meaning to me this far in my life. I didn't realize I'd be saying this word every single day and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thankful for everything. And, like you never really know what kind of turns life is going to give you. And here I am repping Ventruss every day of my life. They say you can't forget where you came from. And I obviously cannot, because the name is in the band,
Oh, easily. You can't forget where you came from. You basically are saying the name of that band. You're basically saying the name every single day. It's become a part of you at this point. So that like your past is your past is still connected to you, but it's a past that isn't something that's like, I'm gonna say something real detrimental or something that's gonna be real damaging. It's gonna be something that actually has a lot of positive. I almost said positive, but positive meaning. If I mess up on this podcast, I'll call myself out, and that's why I was like, I just almost said positive. Because why not? It's funny. But that's kind of where I'm looking at it, where you're continually embracing your past, but also making sure that it's embraced in the best light. And one thing that I did like about what you said as well is right at the beginning, when it came to Ventruss, you had this vision and you weren't gonna let it go. And it was something that even with Embrace Goodbye, with that kind of a name, you knew it didn't fit, but it was either go with what the fit for that name was or go with the fit for the sound was. And you kept on what you want to do, which was that sound. You kept working at it, even maybe as members are coming and going, and maybe some members didn't want to do, maybe some members want to do something even harder, but you kept to what you wanted to do to the point where, I mean, up here in Milwaukee, I have never seen your name pop up, but when I was looking you guys up online, seeing with all the bands you played and where you've played, it seems like that southeastern part of the United States doesn't seem like you guys are a real local band. It seems like a real regional band is the best way to describe it as well, because it seems like a southeastern United States region kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. And Jesse, I'm pretty sure you can vouch for that as well. Jesse also lived, when Jesse first joined the band, he was living in the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. And, even before Jesse was in the band, I had tons of friends out there. Every time we play out there, it's home. We can play anywhere and we'll feel like a local band. It's just like, we're very friendly folk, and, we build connections anywhere we go. And yeah, absolutely. I agree. We're more of a region.
That's the thing too, is for me on my half, like I just want to get this out there. I'm a Jersey boy. So I've lived in New Jersey for most of my life, which is, a stretch considering I'm now in Louisiana and I'm a Southerner, and it's two different worlds. But yeah, just something to go off of is like, when I had a lot of family issues, and eventually, it led to me having to move a lot, and I moved to Mississippi because that was just where my side of the family lived. And I was always looking for that band. Like I already knew individually, like I can hold my own, but I wanted to be in a band that can hold their own as well and not have to deal with immaturity and just a lot of the bullshit a lot of bands go through. So when I got with Ventruss, it was like a whole like new beginning for something bigger, and I felt so happy and content. But even still, like going back to what we were saying, like I know people up in Jersey in the northern region that I don't even know that just heard about us, and they're like, "You're a Jersey boy?" Like, so like we're making our way slowly but surely. It's just hard because like I feel like Mississippi and Louisiana are kind of like two states not everyone hears about all the time, and it's hard representing a state where people I feel can be a little overshadowed, but like. We're making it. We're trying to make the right moves,
Well, that's understandable as well, because you think about Mississippi, you think about Louisiana. I'm gonna say Louisiana specifically. When you think about culture, and you think about music, you think about anything that comes out of New Orleans, and you're definitely thinking more of that jazz scene as well.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Louisiana, that's definitely what you're stuck in with. And that's not something that we know it's gonna be that way, that everyone's gonna follow. But it's just, when people think about that's the first thing their minds go to.
Yeah.
With Mississippi, I'm thinking more of like a country kind of vibe as well. So so when it comes to rock and metal or any kind of influence from that subgenre, you're not really going to get that. However, when you go to the southeastern United States, I mean, Florida is a hotbed for rock and metal, with a lot of bands coming out of there, like Trivium, A Day to Remember, Under Oath, and that's just to name a couple of them. So you're getting a good amount of bands that have that influence in the southeastern United States, but most of the time, again, it really centers in Florida. But but again, in Texas too. Oh my God,
Texas is a big one.
Yeah,
I even throw Georgia out there. Atlanta. Well, Atlanta at least.
I was gonna say the reason I wouldn't throw out Atlanta there is because whenever I think of Atlanta, I'm always thinking of the emerging hip hop scene out there. So that's kind of like, again, same thing with like Louisiana, with New Orleans, where everyone's thinking about jazz because that's the first kind of music on their mind when they think of Louisiana, which goes to New Orleans. That's kind of how the mind works in terms of someone that's not from the area, aka me. But when it comes to Georgia as well, first thing I'm thinking about is always think about Atlanta, and always think about all the hip hop artists that are coming out of Atlanta at this time. So I'm not discounting that Georgia not having great rock and metal bands, but it's just when people think about it, that's where their mind goes to right away, especially if you're not from that area.
Absolutely. Oh, I totally
agree. It's definitely like a culture thing. It's a very culture thing. I mean, like I could name a lot of country bands down here in the South, but I can't really think of that many up in like Boston or, it's just like a culture thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, when you come up north, like where I'm in Milwaukee, where it's I'm not going to use Mock. I'm just going to use the Northern Midwest, specifically Chicago, because when it comes to it, like rock and metal, whenever I'm thinking of bands, I'm always thinking of bands that come out of Chicago, and some of my favorite bands even come out of Chicago. Bands like Chevelle, Disturbed was originally founded in Chicago. My favorite band of all time, Rise Against, is from Chicago. So it's just when you're thinking of like more of that rock and metal scene, you're mostly thinking more northern in the United States. You're thinking place like, again, here Wisconsin, you're thinking Illinois, specifically Chicago, you're thinking Minnesota, you're thinking Michigan, Ohio, because Ohio had Attack, and it has Beartooth. So there's a big mix right there. And Mushroom Head, and then even go to the northeastern United States where you have Pennsylvania with bands like, just thinking of ones that I really know off the top of my head, Motionless in White. If you go to Massachusetts, think Boston, band always comes to my mind right away is Ice Nine Kills. So there's definitely that heaviness in more the northern Midwest and the northeastern part of the United States. When you're going down south, you're getting more of that more country kind of vibe, especially even in Texas as well. Again, Louisiana, always thinking of jazz because of New Orleans. When I was talking about Georgia, again, Atlanta with the hip hop scene, that's kind of where your mind goes. Florida is the ultimate wild card in this because there's so many different styles going on, and there's so many great rock bands that come out of Florida as well, to the point where I'm not saying that it's like, especially with Southern rock and metal, if it's not from Florida, it's like it does get overshadowed because everyone doesn't think of it first on their mind. However, it shouldn't be discounted as well, because there are a lot of great bands that come out with some of that Southern rock flair that really do stand out. Hell, take a look at one of the biggest rock bands in the 70s with Lynyrd Skynyrd. The Southern rock thing was their thing, and so many people loved it because of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And then, Florida's a big melting pot. You never really know what the hell's going to come out of there. Limp Bizkit came out of Florida.
That's right.
Death came out of death metal. Like, death metal's huge in Florida. That's kind of like, actually, talking about Wisconsin earlier, our bass player is, his favorite band is a death metal band out of Wisconsin called Jungle Rot. So, that's like, I don't know of much bands that come out of Wisconsin, but when I think Wisconsin metal, I think Jungle Rot. Or what's that band? They had that hit. It's like, it's my desert blister in the sun. They're from Milwaukee. I know that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of their name.
I was like, really the only big Milwaukee band that I know of that's really made it big has been in the rock and metal scene has been the Violent Femmes.
That's who it is. The Violent Femmes.
Okay, that's what I thought it was going to be. But that's the one that really sticks up. But whenever I think of it, I'm always thinking bands that are like for the Midwest, like Northern Midwest. I'm always thinking bands that come out of Chicago.
Oh yeah, Chicago is like a big melting pot for that too. Now at least, and Disturbed, Rise Against, of course.
Oh hell yeah. I'll say even go over to Iowa too, where you have bands like Slipknot, because they came out of Iowa, and then there's a band that just came out. Their debut album came out this year. A band called Saul. Holy shit.
Saul is badass. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh hell yeah! I had him on the podcast right before the album came out too, and it was a short episode, but it was so much fun talking about it as well. 'Cause I'm just like, this is awesome. Yeah. But again, back to Ventruss. But when it comes to the whole entire Southern rock thing, you're going around it the same way that a lot of other bands. Every single other band has to go around it, where you start out small, you start out locally. And then slowly you start expanding your reach. All of a sudden you become more of just like more of this band that sticks within your state, but you're more well known within the scene within your state. Then you expand more to other states, more to a certain region, which seems like where you guys are at right now with the Southeastern United States. However, like Jesse was saying, there are people more Northeast, especially New Jersey, that are starting to hear your name and listen to your music, and then realizing that Jesse is originally from Jersey. So there's that connection there. So now you're starting to creep your way up the East Coast at the same time as well. And this isn't saying, you guys should completely be blowing up at this point. But what I'm saying is, the way that your band is growing, you're growing at a consistent rate, and you're following along a path that a lot of bands previously have grown, where they started out locally, made a little bit more of a bigger impact, went regionally, and now are going into other regions of the United States as well, potentially then to go nationwide.
Oh, absolutely. Coronavirus. If somebody catches wind of it, it's just going to spread. And you have somebody you might play for in Florida that has friends that are listening to that style of music that live in Maine or something like that, and they see your show and they're going to love it. They're going to tell your friends, "Holy shit, I just saw this band out of Louisiana last night. Check them out." And it's like the coronavirus. The more you go around, the more it's going to spread. So we've never played Jersey, we've never played New York City, but people are catching wind of our name up there, and little do you know, not little do you know, but in time that'll spread to Boston, and then all in the New England, and then into like, Ohio and Indiana, so on and so forth.
Yeah, then they'll come my way, and then they'll go out even further west to the point where all of a sudden the contingent 48 United States, whatever the hell they want to call them, but the continental 48 states, whatever it is.
Also, I want to shout out for Jared Dines. Do you know who Jared Dines is? I'm pretty sure you might know. But...
Why? I know the name. For some reason, I'm not making the connection with the band though.
Oh, okay. He's a YouTuber, and he posts like a lot of like comedy, musical stuff on his YouTube. But he's got like 2 million subscribers, and he's getting out there. Like Trivium, right when Matt Heafy just had his kids. He basically was on tour doing like a little like tour run with them. And when Matt Heafy basically had to leave, Jared Dines and Howard from Killswitch basically covered for Matt Heafy. So he's getting out there. Like he's like pushing his, his market. With that being said, like he was down on tour with his old band called Rest Repose. And I basically got an opportunity to go to the show, and like they are like the nicest, genuine people like you'll ever meet. They don't have any ego. Like they're just so fucking cool. Am I allowed to cuss? I'm sorry.
Oh, fuck yeah, you're allowed to cuss.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, with that being said, like I made friends with them, and like I'm friends with them on Facebook, and gave them our shirt, and he was very generous and kind enough to wear our shirt on one of his videos featuring Ola England, who's like another genuine YouTube sensation. He's Swedish, but they're all of them are just so fucking cool. But it was cool to see like him spread our shit, on his video and representing us in his area. And he lives in Seattle, or I think the suburbs of Seattle, in the northern west.
Mm-hmm.
That's just our goal, is to just kind of make as many connections as possible, and just not be dicks, just all be cool with all the bands, because we're in it for the same reason. I hope so, but like that's just the goal, is just to keep making connections and get more nationwide, and hopefully international, and try to make this a living,
And it seems like the way that things are going and the mindset that you guys have all together really is working for you to reach that goal, because like Ben had said earlier, where it was just continually focusing in on the sound and knowing what you guys are doing. And then Jesse, you're talking about joining the band and just enjoying it, because all the bullshit that a lot of bands go through when new members join, or just trying to get through certain things, that was not there, because it seems like you guys consistently have this focus on the music. So you're always going to be focused on what's going to be best for the band going forward. And that kind of focus is going to allow you to continue to grow into these certain places. So like when Jared Dines is wearing your shirt on one of your, during the show or on one of your videos, holy crap, that's going to get a lot of attention, because people are going to be looking at that, especially on YouTube. I mean, a lot of those YouTube reactors that like are reacting to certain videos or certain bands, if you're reacting to a video, reacting to a song, that's great. If you're also wearing the shirt on a completely different, unrelated video, that's great too, because people are seeing the name, and then they're going to get interested as, okay, why is Jared Dines wearing your shirt? Who is this band? And then they're going to go check them out. Is it going to be everybody? It's probably going to be less than 1% that do that. However, that's still a number of people that are going to end up checking out your stuff based on what essentially is free publicity, all because you guys are genuinely nice guys, and people like hanging around you at shows, and people like playing shows with you guys. So they're just basically doing this because they want to see your band grow and become not just a regional band, but become a nationally known or an internationally known band at the same time as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. You got to hustle, man. I do that on Shiprock. When it comes to burning demos, taking our own CDs, T-shirts, anything, and just handing them out, talking to everybody. I mean, I'm a social butterfly as is. So, might as well use that to help my brand as well. And oh yeah, absolutely. This is what we live for, man. This is what we do.
Oh, totally understandable, especially when it comes to just hustling and keeping grinding out, because if it was easy, then everyone would do it. Pulling out the good old Tom Hanks quote from A League of Their Own, because it's freaking true. If it was easy, then everyone would do it. There are a lot of bands out there that started, they may have had a great sound, they may have had a great vision, but everyone's got to go through the shit in order to, get through what they're getting through and to get to a certain point. No one's going to start out at international stardom just like that. Everyone's got to grow from nothing. Everyone starts out from ground zero, basically. And you have the dedication, the hustle to make sure you're consistently putting your name out there and consistently being in the minds and the ears of people and not letting those other influences get in there and consistently always being in their minds. That's going to have to just keep growing your sound to the point where you're going to be playing shows. Might start out with 10 people, and all of a sudden you can get 20 to 50 to 100, and all of a sudden you're going to have 1,000 people at your shows, to the point where all of a sudden you're going to be playing these massive concert halls. You're going to be playing places like the Armory in Minneapolis, which can hold 8,400 people, and you're going to be the headliner. It's like, okay, now we definitely have something here. If you're going to be headlining a venue like that, come on. I mean, 8,400 people, that's it. That's like the only time I was there for a show like that was with Beartooth, I Prevail in a Day to Remember. So if you get to that kind of level, it's like, holy shit, you're definitely doing something right. But it's all contingent on the amount of work and the willpower that you put into it.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. You get what you put out. And if you put in and get blood, sweat, and tears, then, it's coming. Not without a trouble at all.
I mean, and literal blood, sweat, and tears too. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure probably you guys while playing music, you may have actually bled at some point. Probably a good amount of sweat and a good amount of tears as well. Just being frustrated over something or being overjoyed with something. Hell, even for me, I can say the same thing too. Tears are just kind of like getting real frustrated. Sweat just kind of consistently working on some of the stuff, even in places that might not have AC or really good working AC. Or blood when it comes to actually being at live shows and trying to just get some good footage of some of the stuff, enjoy it, meet or just talk with people, and then all of a sudden mosh pit forms and I can't help myself.
Dude, I cannot wait till we go back to that, man. I need a pit more than anything right now.
I totally fucking agree with you on that.
Dude, last pit I was in, actually, I think I broke some of my hair actually because, and I have a video of this. It was our last show that we played at the Varsity here in Baton Rouge, and Swamp Stank was playing, and then all of a sudden I got trampled, and somebody with boots stomped on my hair, and I think they pulled a little bit with them, and yeah, it was rough, but I missed that. Little if I'd have known that that would have not hold on one second. That would have been my last mosh pit for a while. Oh man, I would have definitely not taken it for granted.
It's so surreal.
It really does. I mean, my last big mosh pit that I was in was it was in February. It was for the Word Alive, Escape the Fate, and Falling in Reverse. And during Popular Monster, during the first part of the bridge, of someone almost broke my nose. So I got a hit with his flying elbow straight to the nose.
God damn.
When I found out it wasn't broken, some dude literally hauled me to the side. I'm like, what the hell, dude? I'm fine. He's like, no. I saw you take that hit. You're leading the wall of death on our side. So initially I thought, yay! And then I looked over and I saw the guy that hit me in the nose, and I just pointed at him like, you're mine. Like, you hit me with a flying elbow, I'm gonna come after you.
Mine!
Literally looked at me and just did the whole entire Morpheus, just like bring it on. Leveled the dude right away. And all of a sudden, right after I level him, me and two other people are picking him right back up. It's like, okay, we're good. It's done. Fine.
Fine. We over it, man.
I miss mosh pits. Probably the funnest mosh pit I've ever been in probably has to be whenever I went to go with my buddies to see Thy Art is Murder with Miss May I, Parkway Drive, and In Heart's Wake.
Oh.
We were at the House of Blues, and there was one guy there, just one guy, who was starting every song a mosh pit for no, like there is reasons why people mosh pit, but this guy just literally every song, was the intimidator. And I feel like he had control on the mosh pit too, because for one, this guy was just a monster, and two, everyone wanted to go towards him and try to beat the shit out of him, but they couldn't because he was so big. But he actually, I remember this too. He basically got was headbutting these people and he was like gushing blood out of his nose and was smiling the whole time. Like, we gotta like not be next to this guy. Someone get him out now, please, because this guy was like asking for it. But yeah, it's just so crazy, like how that guy like wanted that, like, and like he was smiling, all blood everywhere, and eventually the security took him out. But that was like probably my favorite mosh pit I was in. It was just so rowdy.
The rowdy ones are the best. And one thing I will say about that is, like, usually when I see people bleeding in a mosh pit, I get you're going crazy, I get you're having a good time, but you're gonna have to get out because you don't want to get your blood all over everybody. I've seen 2 instances where that has happened with 2 different outcomes. One was for a show with Pennywise and Anti-Flag, and some dudes just started bleeding. We're like, dude, go get that cleaned up, go get that taken care of. And he refused to the point where all of a sudden 2 guys literally dragged him out of the pit because they're like, you should not be in here bleeding over everybody. The other one was at a show for After the Burial and Motionless in White, and it was actually me who started bleeding because I got knocked down for the first time in months. As I'm getting picked up, dude trips, go head to head contact, just boom, huge cut right above my eye. And it's bleeding. I'm like this, and the guy's like, dude, I'm so sorry. And I'm literally yelling at him, get me the fuck out of here. And it wasn't because I was mad at him. It was because I didn't want to bleed over everyone in the pit. I didn't want blood on the floor. Someone could slip. Who wants to deal with that? So I've got like all this toilet paper like up against my eyes. Like, dude, I'm so sorry. Are you mad at me? I'm like, no, I'm not mad at you. I get it. Shit happens. It's a mosh, but we put ourselves in that position. But
Situation, man. We've caused some injuries in the pit as well. I mean, we've had bloody noses, broken bones. Like for a band that's not considered heavy, at least appears in the Baton Rouge area, we can throw it down. Our pits throw down.
Well, that's actually what I was going to ask you about right away, right after this, because listening to some of your music as well, I mean, it definitely has the feel like you can really start a pit at any given point. So I was going to ask if you guys had, and if you have, what's some of the craziest pit stories you've seen from on stage?
Oh, man. Okay, so this was before Jesse was in the band. In 2015, the drummer for the band that was headlining, it was their CD release party, broke his hand in our pit, and he had to play the set right after that. So he had to play a set with a broken hand. I've seen I've seen people pee-lay each other. What was it? There was this poor girl. She went in the pit with heels on, and I don't know why she did that. And got pee. I literally just watched her get pee-laid. I've seen my old roommate get thrown down. Luckily uninjured. I've seen. Ooh, man, Jesse, what's some good pit stories you've seen?
The one that rings the bell the most, and this is the one I was trying to say a second ago, was definitely Shanghai Nabbies in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this was Halloween night, and this was a year ago, and a month or so, yeah. And we played in Florida, and you had to dress up because it was Halloween. So the whole audience is just nothing but just colors and just makeup and everything. It was awesome. Everyone dressed up, and there was this old guy, and his costume was Popeye, and he was just messed up on drugs. Like, he was gone, and you could tell he was having like a great night, because like he was starting mosh pits. He was getting everyone in the game. And then people knocked him on his ass, and it got so bad. We played one song. I think it was Psychosis.
Oathkeeper.
It was Oathkeeper. And this guy got knocked out from the audience, like basically because he would start these mosh pits, kind of like the other guy I was talking about, but the audience would almost beat the fuck out of him because they were throwing hands, and they literally like knocked him out. And almost every other second when we were headbanging, I looked down at our monitor, and it's Popeye, and he's like full eagle, like spread on the floor, and he's like unconscious. And like you got the guy trying to pick him up again, like, come on, man. And this happened literally like 5 times in the same song. I'm like, is someone gonna get him an ambulance or something? Like, that shit was so funny. Like,
Dude, they were
it looked like it hurt like a fuck ton.
Dude, they were not stopping, man. Like literally, Florida to mess around. Florida, like they were literally like
probably our best audience.
Oh yeah, easily, hands down. That was one of my favorite shows I've ever done. St. Augustine, Florida. I got mad love for you guys. Can't wait to come back. Tampa was tight too. I remember Tampa's pretty big. No, there wasn't a crazy pit story. However, there was a rapper, Bougie Man. Shout out to him. He opened the show, and then right after he was done playing, there was another band playing. And this dude brought his barber to the show. He set up his barber chair, and he's getting a haircut right after his set in the venue. He's getting like a fresh fade. I was like, Florida, man, y'all are wild. I love it though.
And it's crazy too, because after that show, he fucked with us so much that he wanted to finish the tour with us. And we were just sitting there like, we're like, man, are we gonna be able to do that or are we not? Like, what's going on? But he was such like an awesome dude. But, but yeah, it was the fact. Wait, what?
I said we were hoping it could have happened, but it wasn't in our control, and all the shows were booked. All the lineup was set down, so unfortunately, that didn't happen. But Bougie Man,
we financially could have taken care of it. We definitely would have had him.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that'd have been insane, especially if all of a sudden during your sets, the next time his barber came with them and on stage, he was getting a fresh fade while you guys were playing.
Yeah, and right.
Cool thing about that was, are you familiar with the band Iced Earth?
Unfortunately, no.
Really? Okay. Iced Earth is a legendary. They started out as like a very like thrashy death metal band from Florida. I mean, they came out with Deicide. They came out with Cannibal Corpse, good friends of them, Death even. But their original singer, Gene, is a fan of our band, and he lives in Florida. And he came out to the show, and I remember we were standing next to each other, and he was jamming out to Bougie Man, and like this is like a metal legend. He turned around, it's like, I like this guy. When he sings, he sounds like Ozzy. And I was like, hell yeah, Bougie Man, get it.
That's one thing I've been seeing though more recently is that there's been some more crossover with the hip hop artists and some rappers along with the rock and metal crowd as well. I mean, even take a look at some of the major festivals that were happening in 2020, and there's usually always two rappers or rap groups that I always see play at some of these rock and metal festivals. One's always Wu-Tang Clan, and the other is always Tech Nine. But every rock and metal fan would be like, if you have a chance to go see that show, go and see it. I could have gone and saw Wu-Tang Clan during Riot Fest last year, but they were going on at the same time that Rise Against was, and the only reason I wanted to go to Riot Fest was to see Rise Against like for the 9th time. So I'm like, yeah, see Wu-Tang for the first time, see Rise Against for the 9th time. Well, that's how I was gonna go to Rise Against just because I can't help myself. It's too much fucking fun.
Man. You gotta go in the line of your favorite band, man, and you will get that chance to see Wu-Tang. Hopefully, I get that chance. I'd love to see Wu-Tang live and Tech.
Tech Nine is awesome. I love Tech Nine.
I always tell this story about Tech Nine because I went to a show and it was May 2019. I didn't go and see Tech Nine, but he was playing in Milwaukee at this venue called The Rave. And there's 3 main stages. There's a basement stage, like a club level stage, and then there's their whole ballroom stage, which is their biggest stage. It's on the top. And Tech Nine was in the basement, and I was up top because I was seeing In This Moment was headlining, and Seven Dust was the opener. And I really wanted to see Seven Dust, so I'm like, I'm going to see Seven Dust. And it was like their like 20th time playing the venue too, so it was freaking awesome. And I remember looking outside, and there were tour buses. There were 9 tour buses. There was 1 for Seven Dust, 1 for In This Moment, and 7 for Tech Nine, because they all said strange music on the side, and I was counting. I'm like, the dude brought 7 buses. What the hell? And it got to a point where all of a sudden, like when Seven Dust was done with one of their songs, we could feel the bass from the basement. It was that loud. It was that deep. It was insane. But then as we were leaving the show, because we were leaving the show, and then the Tech Nine crowd was leaving the show as well, we were talking with them as we were kind of like crossing paths. We were going out. They're like, guys, we heard you guys moshing and going crazy in between our songs. We're like, we heard the bass in between our songs. And it was just kind of this whole hilarious thing. We're like, we all wish we could have all been at both shows for the same time, but we had to pick one or the other. So unfortunately, but it's still somewhere. It just, if like rock and metal fans, if Tech Nine shows up or if Wu-Tang Clan shows up, you're going to go and see them because they're just so much fun to see. But it seems like there's more crossover happening now. Like what you guys experienced with Bougie Man with, I know for Rockfest in 2020, Snoop Dogg was supposed to be a headliner along with Limp Bizkit, but that got moved to 2021. I'm trying to think of a couple others. I mean, even take a look at some of the newer stuff right now, like Bring Me to the Horizon. They had Youngblood featured on a track, and that went incredibly well. So there's definitely more crossover that's starting to happen now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was supposed to go to a festival a couple years ago in Kentucky and ended up getting canceled called Louder Than Life, and Ice Cube was supposed to play. And,
why did Louder Than Life get canceled a couple of years ago?
What's that?
Why did that get canceled a couple years ago? Because Louder Than Life is the biggest rock and metal festival in the U.S. right now. It
got flooded.
Oh.
Yeah, it flooded out. I stayed in Kentucky for a couple of days and just hung out because I couldn't cancel my plane ticket. But actually, talking about the rock and metal crossover and Ventruss as well, which, I mean, is coming soon. But there's a lot of rap influence on the new Ventruss as well. So that is something that people can get their eyes and their ears popped open and listen to because, there's. I mean, I'm a big rap fan, and I've always wanted to do that. I'm actually. In time, I'm going to do my own rap project. That's very, very, very early in the works, though. But with Ventruss, though, I've always wanted to do it. I never found the right time. Also, previously wasn't allowed to do it, but now I am, or now I have that full say-so, and it's happening.
Well, two things on that. One, Jesse, now is also the perfect time for you to do your Christian rap album. If there's any time right now, it is now.
I'll have one song.
Song. Thing is, like, Jesse he used to spit Bible verses. He taught the world that it's okay to be a Christian and a G.
So keep in mind the reason why there's a joke about me being a Christian rapper is because in high school, I was on a date, and it was one of those dates, it was like you find one of your first loves. So I did my hair, I got a whole fresh cut. I tried to wear the best, coolest looking thing, and I had a golden cross chain that I still have actually. And my friend took a picture of it, and once I showed Ben, Ben took off with this joke about me being a Christian rapper, and half of my family's Christian, so it's awkward getting, being in a battle between my family and friends that actually think I'm a former Christian rapper.
Did people believe that? And I would just post it on my Snapchat as a joke, and people legit thought that this was real. And I'm just like, man, I really need to go into I love acting, and I've acted in a few things here and there, NCIS and all that, but I really need to do this because I am very convincing. And believe that Jesse was a Christian rapper for a short while. And
in my past life.
In his past life, maybe.
Past life. Yeah. I mean, you're literally creating something happening based on a rumor that you created, Ben. So I got to give you applause for that, and that's absolutely hilarious.
Plus, I live off inside jokes. I can create wait, what's that, Jesse?
No, I was saying I was basically going where you're going. The whole band, that's how we strive is just off of inside jokes. We're all funny dudes in general, and we're all unique, but at any show, at any given moment, we could say one thing in a serious moment, and we know exactly where it came from, and it just kind of brings the mood up. But it's hilarious. We do some weird inside jokes, but funny nonetheless.
And a lot of them range from current events to events that happened a long time ago. Steve is come into contact with a lot of interesting people that he worked with. So a lot of our inside jokes stem off of that. And then we have a lot of inside jokes and stuff that was on the road. In St. Augustine, Florida, we were met with this. We met this homeless dude was walking down the street, and this is after the show. And Steve screams, "Yo!" So the dude starts coming over here, and we're like, "Oh God, here comes another one of them Florida man stories." So comes up. And literally, this is exactly what we thought. We didn't know this dude, and this dude comes up, and he it was so dark. I can't even remember his face. I really don't even remember what his face looked like. I don't have a pure vision of it. He was just we're like, "You all right? Do I look all right?" Well, no. He's like, "Well, I'm not all right then." And Steve's like, "You want a beer?" What kind of question is that, you sissy bitch? And literally looked at him with a serious, we're all dying laughing. He's like, "Yes, I want a beer." So he gave him a beer. And we're getting a bottle opener for him. But instead of that, he didn't wait for that. He takes the beer, puts the bottle cap around his mouth, and he's like aggressively as fuck. And then he goes,
while maintaining eye contact with Steve, and Steve's sitting there like, what the fuck is going on right now? And like everyone just dying laughing.
That dude was staring into
so
Steve's
awkward
soul.
and so intense.
Dude, Florida was great. That was like one of the best shows we ever played. And it was just like, how can this night get any better or weirder? And then that happens. And then it's just like, and that was the last show of the run. And that was the last thing we did other than go to the hotel. We're like, well, that was a good piece out to Florida.
I'll say one thing about Florida is like, 'cause I've been there 3 times in my life. Once when I was a little kid going to Disney World. Once in 2015 because it was spring break in Panama City Beach, and holy shit. I got stories about that. But then there was also when I went down there in 2019 for the Daytona 500 because that's what I was doing with my dad for his 60th birthday because he always wanted to go to the race. The race was on his 60th birthday. There was no way I wasn't going to have this happen. And it's like we got drunk walking around Disney World on accident, by the way, which is even funnier. We ended up walking to like a bunch of these random bars in Daytona Beach, and they were all like they were just all biker bars and everything. We walked in there, and my dad and I were laughing hysterically because you could tell that we didn't belong, but we were so comfortable in them because they were just like outside tents in like some little indoor spots. We're like, this reminds us of the church festivals that we have up here in Wisconsin, where it's just the churches in their parking lots. They're just going to literally set up carnivals and festivals. And the biggest mainstays are the live music and the beer tents. Yeah, we sell beer by the just throw it at people basically because people are buying beer like crazy. So we're like, this is literally like this. We even go to a different bar where they have license plates all up over the wall, all up over everywhere. And my dad's friend actually has one up there, a Wisconsin plate that just reads Gas Man. Reason it's Gas Man is because the guy's initials are GAS. So that's why it's there. They loved it so much they put it up on the wall. And we were trying to find it. And we were looking all over the place. We couldn't find it. Then I realized under the bar, like basically like where people like are sitting down and where their legs are covering, there were a bunch of license plates over there. Without me even thinking about anything else, any potential repercussions of my actions, pulled out my phone, turned on the flashlight, and I'm just looking down there. All of a sudden, these 2 women are like, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, this does not look good." And all of a sudden, I get grabbed by 2 bikers. I'm like, okay, this really isn't good. I'm like, this is a whole misunderstanding. And my dad is at the bar too. He's like, whoa, guys, what's going on? They're like, what the hell's he doing? And then my dad explains what's going on about the license plate. And all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, why don't you say so? Hey, everyone, back away from the bar. We got to find this license plate. So everyone just backed up and we were looking for about 10 minutes. We couldn't find it because we were in the wrong part of the bar.
Shit.
But it was just like oh man, I'm about to have like a Florida man moment. Florida men beat up other men for trying to find license plate on accident. To all of a sudden we got the whole bar looking for this thing.
Oh shit! Yeah, right. It's like Florida people are nice. There's just some in the water. It's just some of them drink some of the water, and then it just gets a little crazy. It
was even funnier too. We were outside looking at because there's a whole bunch of bikes out there. So I'm looking at the bikes, and all of a sudden, I looked at them. Everyone's just looking at bikes. I'm like, I always remember the cardinal rule: bikers love it when you look at their bikes, but they will kick your ass if you touch them. So I'm like, I got a beer in one hand, and I got it behind my back, both my hands. I'm like, I ain't touching shit, guys, because I know whoever owns that bike is within eye level distance and able to see it. He's monitoring this bike. The dude is loving the fact that I'm looking at it, but if I touch that thing, he's coming over there and he's kicking my ass. So yeah, I'm staying away from that.
Yeah, for real though.
Well, they do like when you look at their bikes, but yeah, do not touch those things at all.
But that's just the thing. It's like when it comes to Florida, some of the craziest stuff happens there. You get the craziest stories you have happen there. And I mean, I think that's also why rock and metal thrives in Florida, because it's like kind of just that whole entire, especially with live shows, especially at shows where you get like the bands I mentioned, like Trivium, Day to Remember, Under Oath, you're going to get just some absolute like reckless behavior from the fans because everyone's just moshing, everyone's going crazy. I've lost my shoe during Under Oath show. During the Day to Remember, I really want to do crowd surfing, the crowd surfer, but when I tried doing it, I looked at myself like, I'm in the front row somehow, so I'm not doing it because that's just a dumb idea. But just like the craziness of it just really fits that whole entire energy where kind of anything can happen at any given moment.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Oh yeah, those shows are nuts. I remember I saw Under Oath in Houston, Texas once, and that shit was insane, bruh.
Well, I was gonna say, even listening to some of your guys' music, I mean, you definitely could fit into that vibe where all of a sudden you have that feeling of anything can happen at any one of your live shows in terms of the crowd just getting absolutely rambunctious and ridiculous at any given moment.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we've had it. We've had mixed, mixed feelings with that because like for instance, we had literally 1 week where we played a show for Saliva and literally, or no, sorry, yeah, Saliva and then also Cannibal Corpse all within the same week. So you got this hard rock, Southern style metal with Cannibal Corpse, which is death metal, and in the same week, like it's just weird because you would assume you're at a Cannibal Corpse show, and there would be nonstop, you know, pits and everything, and then Saliva is more like chill rock, and we've had more of a pit to Saliva than we've had in Cannibal Corpse. Not saying that Cannibal Corpse didn't throw down. I'm just saying that particular week was weird because like Cannibal Corpse for our set, it was more just everyone was just intrigued about us and just wanted to watch us rather than to go hard, when Cannibal Corpse goes on. But then Saliva, like you got people like literally like beating the fuck out of people. Not bad, just what I'm saying, like it's just a mixed feeling, like what the fuck?
oh yeah. It's a surprising feeling because well, when we play with Cannibal Corpse, we were also the opening band. So when the opening bands, people are kind of just getting there. It takes a little while, unless like it's like. And mind you, we were also the black sheep of that show because it was us, Harm's Way, Hate Eternal, and Cannibal Corpse. So
Yeah.
we were the odd band out, even though it was very honestly that ended up being one of my favorite shows we ever did. I was like weary about. I wouldn't like. I knew the show was gonna be good, but like the reception of us I was a little bit scared about, but totally opposite of what I thought, and it ended up being one of my favorite shows ever. However, yeah, we were the opening, the odd band out. But yeah, when we played with Saliva, shit, man, it was pits nonstop.
All right, I do have to bring this up to you guys. So I want to hear your take on this. And one thing that I've been thinking about, one thing I'm a big proponent of is when it comes to playing a live show, you can be the odd band out, but it all depends upon where you're placed within the show. So on something like where you guys are the odd band out, where you guys went earlier and you had some of these incredibly more harder, just more deathcore bands and death metal bands later on. Mm-hmm. It's just that lead up to that energy really does work out in your favor as well, because you're basically priming people to get into it. Where I've seen this happen, I've seen this work out a couple of times. One time I saw this work out might have been like the same day you guys played that Florida show with the Halloween show, because I saw it was Awake at Last was the opener, which you're gonna get more of that hard rock vibe to it. And then all of a sudden, Light the Torch with Howard Jones went on, and some people are starting to get a little bit more rambunctious. It wasn't too crazy, but that energy and that hardness definitely increased. Then all of a sudden, it's Fit for a King, and then everyone's going nuts. And then the headliner, again, this is right around Halloween. The headliner's Ice Nine Kills. Holy shit! Just the build up to that energy just kept everything interesting, and that was actually what got me interested in Awake at Last, because I remember just how it perfectly amped up everything. I've seen it also not work out as well, to the point where, again, it was when I went to go see Beartooth, I Prevail, and Day. Remember, because Beartooth started. And trying to match Caleb Shomo's energy on any kind of, there's like only a couple bands that could potentially pull off something like that. And then when I Prevail went on, it just felt like the show got deflated because that energy was just lessened. And then when A Day to Remember went on, okay, now it's right back up because A Day to Remember can match that kind of energy from Beartooth. But if they would have flipped it and all of a sudden I Prevail went on first, then Beartooth, that energy level would have just completely transitioned so much better, in my opinion, to the point where a lot of people that if they weren't really in I Prevail then, they would have gotten I Prevail even more because of that. And that's why with you guys potentially being the black sheep of the band on that one lineup, how it worked was because it just worked out to build people up to what was going to be the headliner with Cannibal Corpse. So holy crap, it just works out to get people amped up. And then everyone's going to remember that what the end of the show was like. But then also when they think of you, they're also going to remember that. So it's like the energy level, they're going to have that positive experience attached to it. So they're going to want to check out your band even more so, because that positive experience attached to it.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look at me,
That's
just
what
going on a full rant.
Go on, Jesse.
No, I was just agreeing with them. Like, it's one thing to go to a show and see your favorite bands, but a lot of things that I don't know, I can't really speak out for everyone, but I'm just saying, like, I had more of an interest in like the variety of shows, like what bands you see on a show rather than seeing every band you like. Because if you could just go out to a show and see every band you like, then why not see any other show, depending on the person, generally speaking. A lot of musicians in general, like, I guess, like that, like where you can like what we were talking about earlier, like going to a metal show and seeing rap and getting different tastes and setting yourself up as a whole show rather than just the energies of every individual performance.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's just very intriguing. Like I like that week was cool because it shows, like, we could play in front of Saliva and we can play for a band like Cannibal Corpse within the same week and still have a game, still have people from both scenarios and different perspectives of genres who still like us. And that's kind of like the cool gift about being in this type of genre that we are, is we have the ability to play that.
Yeah, and when it comes, again, those live shows as well, it's just you have the ability to play in so many different realms, so that no matter what, you have a very easy ability to basically, what's the best way to put it, to transcend different parts of a show in terms of where you're going to be playing, if it's going to be the opener, the headline, or whatever it's going to be. Because I've listened to some of the music, don't get me wrong, and there's times where that heaviness can really be brought forward, especially in a song like Psychosis, with the mixture between the clean and unclean vocals and how consistently you go back and forth on that to really bring in the heaviness overall. So there really is something there that works out. That was probably my favorite song from you guys, though, is Psychosis. Holy crap, those vocals, yikes, was it good. But where I'm going with it too is just like when it comes to including rap in some of these performances in some of these tours, does it work? For me, it's like, in terms of rock and roll, does it work? Yes, but it has to be placed correctly in the lineup. So I'll put it this way. Say all of a sudden, like, we'll take Slipknot and Knotfest. Say they were putting together a lineup and they're trying to figure out what they wanted to do. And say you guys were opening up, and then let's put 4 bands in their total. Say you guys were opening up, and then all of a sudden right after it, like, Tech Nine is going to play. Okay, so you get that amped up energy going into it. People are going to be amped up, but then you've got to match the energy almost exactly, or even more so, to that band that goes on right before Slipknot. So, like, who'd be perfect for that in terms of matching overall energy and that hardness to it at the same time as well. So a band like Bring Me the Horizon and Day to Remember would be perfect for something like that, just to not only bring people up to it, but like start it out at a good base and then build on top of it, because it's kind of like a pyramid in a way.
Yeah.
You want to get to the top, but like start out with a base, all of a sudden then the energy just keeps going up and up and up and up to the point where all of a sudden, say, Slipknot goes on and everyone's still like, everyone remembers the 3 bands before. Everyone remembers you, everyone remembers Tech Nine, everyone remembers like Bring Me the Horizon or Day to Remember. But then Slipknot goes on, everyone's still amped up for it as well. It just creates this whole entire incredible concert experience to the point where you can have different genres and people aren't going to care that they're different genres because they're having such a good time, especially with the energy of the crowd and the energy of the performances. It's an infectious thing and you can't get rid of it.
Oh, and that's a cool thing too, because, like, for instance, like, there was a tour and Slipknot was headlining, and I don't know if you're familiar with the band Coheed and Cambria.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like they're 2 complete different types of bands as a whole in almost every majority of every way. So essentially, like, they played on the same tour and Coheed opened up right before Slipknot. So, like, just to think about, like, that perspective of where shows can be, where, you could, see a band like Coheed and then next go right into Slipknot. That's very cool. And I definitely fuck with that, because those are one of my favorite bands. So, like, I have more of a broader, perspective on music, progressively and so it's cool to see like bands like Coheed get like sharing the stage right before Slipknot. So it's like two extreme different energies, but still great ass outcome.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was saying I got another great example as well, and it was Riot Fest from last year, because it like they had a bunch of stages all over the park, but they had two stages right next to each other, and one of them was going to be the main stage where the headliner for the night was Slayer. Okay, so you're expecting a lot of this stuff, and they were going back and forth between the stages, and I think it was the 2:00 show on the main stage was Testament. So of course you're going to get this, that more thrash metal kind of energy. It's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, then you're going over to this other stage, the secondary stage that's right next to it, and the Story So Far is playing. So you get more of this pop punk style, but even though it's a lighter feel, that energy is still there and it matches. Then all of a sudden, it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock, or 5 o'clock show on the main stage was Anthrax. So now it's like, okay, now we're getting we're getting one of the big four here. Holy shit, here we go. Then it's the secondary stage is going to be their last show of the night, which starts at 7 o'clock. And it's like, okay, well, who is it? And are they going to be able to match that kind of energy and perfectly bridge the gap between Anthrax and Slayer? You're expecting you need another thrash metal band to really bridge that gap and keep that energy going.
Yeah.
Hell no, you don't. It was crazy being in that crowd. It was also for Rise Against as well, but still it fit because the energy was just matched up so perfectly. People just kept going absolutely insane. Hell, I even saw it with Rise Against 5 years ago as well, where Killswitch actually opened up before them, and they had a deathcore band open up before Killswitch. So it was deathcore, metalcore, punk rock, but the energy flow still worked out well. So you can even go with the lighter style, but as long as that energy flow keeps going, people are going to stay engaged with the show. People are going to enjoy it a hell of a lot more. So you just have to keep that flow going. Holy crap, you can mix so many different styles, so many different genres into one single show, and it can absolutely work. It all depends upon energy flow.
That's all it does. Actually, hammer on the nail on that one, my friend. Absolutely.
And that's where you got to pay a lot of respect to frontman, because I think a lot of energy you get at a show is with a frontman. And having consistent, so it's one thing to hear the same thing like, "Are you ready?" But like if you got all these bands on all these big ass tours, and all the frontmen are different in their own way, and they keep that energy, keep going for every band, after them. So like I give a shout out to all the frontmen out there who busting their asses, keeping people fucking entertained, not saying that the music doesn't stand alone, just saying like, because it's intimidating being in front of so many people like that. And, not every band can do that. So definitely...
I would say, oh God, no. I'll bring up another show as well. It was the After the Burial Motionless and White one, because After the Burial was freaking nuts. Just the whole entire energy from that show. And when all of a sudden Motionless and White came on, you're not expecting something you're expecting something hard, but you're not expecting something as hard as After the Burial. However, I'm pretty sure Chris Motionless was watching the show at that point, because he went on, and I've never seen him go that crazy because of how crazy the crowd was. But then it was like a feeding frenzy from energy. It was all of a sudden, it was like Chris is going absolutely insane. All of a sudden on stage, like Justin, Ricky, and Vinny are going insane. All of a sudden the crowd just picks up on that, and the mosh pit is going absolutely even more crazy. I'm not in it because I'm still bleeding at this point, but I've got paper towel on my eye. I've got a piece of shirt tied around my head. I look like a pirate. And when I'm on the edge pushing people back in, it's like, why don't you get back in? I don't want to bleed over you guys. I told you this already. But it's just the energy level is going back and forth as absence, and it does draw a lot on the frontman, because for the rest of the members of the band, if you're a drummer, I mean, you're stuck behind the kit. You're unless you're like Tommy Lee or Neil Peart, it's going to be somewhere you're not going to be as well visible. But then with the guys up front with like the bass guitars and the just the regular electric guitars, what's going to happen is you got these big pieces of equipment that you're playing, and you have to play them well as well. So you can't do as much crazy stuff as a frontman can do who's singing. However, it does depend on him as well, the point where he can drive so much that then you guys can feed off of that as well and just really get more energetic with your movements. Frontman's going crazy. All of a sudden, say Ben just decides to jump into the mosh pit on his own, jump into the crowd, just have a good time. I have seen that before, and it is awesome. Hell, I've even seen bassists jump into the crowd before. Shout out to Atreyu for that one, which was freaking awesome. Also, shout out to Chris #2 from Anti-Flag, because he did it as well, and it was insane. But I've seen frontmen jump into the crowd. I've seen The craziest one is I saw both singers from Butcher Babies jump into the mosh pit with us. That
Oh,
was fun as all
yeah.
hell. They went nuts. I'm like, holy shit.
Do that at Rockville, and they had people circle pitting around both of them. It was fucking amazing. Honestly, Butcher Babies is one of like their live show was just out of this world. I was like, damn, like these, like they fucking can get a crowd going, and like literally their energy doesn't stop. I mean, Heidi just jumping off everything, Carla too, but Heidi is just like all over the place jumping. It's just like, damn, like fucking kudos.
Yeah, because when I saw Butcher Babies, they had that, like, it was definitely a harder energy, but it was definitely a high energy, high impact kind of style. And for that show, they actually were the opener for Hollywood Undead. And with Hollywood Undead, you're going to get some hard stuff there, but you're going to get more of this, like, party atmosphere to it, but it's a higher energy kind of party vibe. So, again, it's something where you have a band that's not going to go as hard as Butcher Babies, follow them, but the energy level is the exact same, so the flow works in between it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely, man. And I love jumping into the crowd. Like, occasionally I do, and I find the right moment, I'll get into the crowd. And I tried getting that. I haven't mastered how to communicate it, but I've tried to get like a circle pit going around me. But like whenever I get in the mosh pit, it's like while in the middle of my singing, everyone just like kind of just runs into me. It's kind of like they get that motion, which is fun and everything. But like after seeing Heidi and Carla do that, I'm like, I got to do that. I got to make that happen. I want people to circle pit around me. That is something that's like a bucket list thing. Have not gotten it yet. I mean, I've got in the crowd. I've hung over stuff, and in time, I like to, even though like it's sometimes hard being 6'8", because like your body is so big, and it's like sometimes harder to move. Because like the girls of the Butcher Babies are like 5'2", so like they have like all this like this short girl high energy. Whenever you're a giant, you got to move all that body, which is still possible, but it's a challenge sometimes.
Yeah, we got to keep in mind that you're still like 7 foot, like Shaquille O'Neal size.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like and then like oh yeah,
Empire State Building.
Right.
I'll say what you're gonna have to do is even maybe putting a little bit of that rap stuff aside for a couple of days is take a look at a bunch of Butcher Babies live videos and see them jump into the crowd and do the circle pit and see kind of how they do it, how they set it up to the point where you can reverse engineer it to see how, okay, if this is gonna work for two shorter women just above 5 feet, how can I make this work in a very similar style for a guy who's just under 7 feet? So.
Right, yeah.
I think for things like that, it would have to be like arena/festivals, because that's when you really got like so many people that are just so rallied up to the point where, when you go to an arena or festival, you got all that weight. So like no matter if you're one bend or four bends all in one, they're still going to carry your ass. Like, that's why festivals are like a huge thing we're trying to get on right now. So we can be able to do shit like that. Cause I would love to. I'm just a big fat motherfucker. So I'm definitely hitting that salad soon, but I would definitely love to like stage dive and still keep playing all that cool shit,
Oh, yeah.
I actually had a buddy of mine. His name is Taylor Roberts. Shout out to Taylor. He was formerly the guitar player of Wildfire, and he actually like one show we were playing, and he looked at me because we know each other, and he was like, "I'm about to stage dive." So I'm like, "Oh shit!" So I'm like telling everyone like, "Get ready, he's about to fucking jump," and he jumps, and then we carried his ass and everything. Like it was just fucking awesome.
Oh yeah. What was it?
Like,
Out of a band called Riding with Killers out of Detroit. So shout out to him.
I was gonna say definitely when it comes to potentially trying something like that for yourself, definitely the festival setting is probably gonna be the way to go at this moment, because with arena tours, I mean, I'm trying to think the smallest band I ever saw on an arena tour, like just open up an arena tour. I'm trying to even think, maybe in this moment that might be the smallest one I've seen open up in an arena tour. So.
Yep, I was it in this moment. Seven Dust, Corn, and Disturbed.
It was that lineup, but it was an added show right at the end of the tour, and it was only Seven Dust, or no, it was only In This Moment and Disturbed.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Because that was like actually how I first saw In This Moment. It was in 2011. So In This Moment, Seven Dust, Corn, and Disturbed. And I saw In This Moment before like the whole blood thing and like the changing of the outfits. Like she was windmilling, like
Yeah.
like it was brutal.
Yeah, and now it's something completely different. Where because actually it was a different tour because this one was last year. So,
okay. Oh, I do remember that tour last year. It was
they were supposed to end in St. Louis, and all of a sudden they added a day like 2 days later, and it's like, yeah, we're adding one more day, and I'm like, oh, it would be cool if it was Milwaukee, yeah. And one of the biggest Disturbed fans of all time. Shout out to Kathy Miller on this one because she helped me when I saw them at the end of the first leg of their tour in Chicago. She basically helped me secure a spot right on the rail. And then she actually helped me get a ticket for the show in Milwaukee and then also helped me secure a spot on the rail. So
what?
It was freaking awesome. Also, little fun fact, if you watch the music video for Hold On to Memories by Disturbed, the one with all the live performances, at the 2:37 mark, you will actually see Kathy on the video because she loves Disturbed. She's very emotionally connected to them, so she's very emotional during the song. And then in like the right half of the screen, you're going to see some dumb, goofy kid with such a dumb, goofy smile on his face that doesn't make any sense for that moment in the song. And that dumb, goofy kid is me.
What, dude? Actually, dude, much respect to anybody that loves Disturbed. I love Disturbed. Always have. Been one of my favorite bands since I was a kid. We're going to be covering that soon because unfortunately my dad passed away in last month.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That we're going to do that as a tribute to him. So I'm going to look for that. I can't wait to see that. So it's like you said, it's like the 2:30 mark.
2:37.
Okay, all right, 2:37.
Yeah.
All right, I'll note that.
I was going to say one thing you guys could do is potentially if you're going to create a video for that cover as a tribute as well. There's two things you can do. One is maybe it's like if you have some sort of like live show kind of stuff that you can play off of that, like in that video you could. Or one thing that I saw Disturbed you, and this was during that song because it happened both times when I saw them in Chicago and in Milwaukee, where they had in the background, like while they were playing it during the live show, they had basically just like a whole different like kind of picture slideshow kind of thing, just going through all these different pictures from the beginning of the band to a lot of things that they've done to pictures with their families, pictures of vacation on. So just a lot of the memories. But then they also did a lot of pictures of them with other people in different bands that are no longer with us. And both times, whenever the picture of David Draymond and Chester Bennington came up, people just went ape crazy. Just it was just
I remember seeing that in the video too with him and Chester. Yeah, they were real.
No, go ahead.
No, that's all I'd say.
Oh, I was saying like I bet that was an emotional experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's when you listen to that song, it's if as a tribute to your dad, that is a perfect song to cover as well. There's even a Facebook group for Sirius XM Octane. It's a fan page. Guy named Joe Alfano. Create a shout out to Joe Alfano as well because he's got me connected with a good amount of bands as well. He started the page. It's got like 17,000 people on it, and someone posted that their best friend had died a couple days before we shot this, or maybe the day before we shot this, and was just asking for just music to help. Just go like deal with it at the same time as well. And I was throwing a couple of suggestions out there for him, and it was 2 Disturbed songs. One was Hold On to Memories, another one was The Light, and then throughout Linkin Park as well with One More Light, just because anytime you listen to that song, it's you're just gonna feel the emotion of how much that person meant to you and how much instead of not being sad they're gone, but being glad the fact that they were a part of your life for however long they were.
Absolutely. Angel Sun by Seven Dust is another one to throw out there as well.
Good one.
Oh yeah.
But great choice. The Light especially. I love that song. I love Disturbed, man. They get a lot of hate. If you're an underground musician, it's not cool to like Disturbed. Well, fuck that. I love Disturbed, man.
Really?
Yeah, because they're a mainstream act. They sell out arenas, and like, what's wrong with that again?
There's a lot of bands like I don't know if this is just in like our area, but like there's a lot of people that I think this is just mainly anywhere, but there's a lot of people that it's almost like a jealousy thing, like, well, why are they successful when they sound like this or that or blah blah blah. Like Disturbed has done their time. they've shown the world like they can make music that means a lot to people, especially veterans. Like they have a lot that their message about like war and military and lost loved ones and like that's what matters. Things like that is what matters, not like if a band fits the status quo of
like what's cool.
Oh yeah, dude. I take heavy influence. David Draymond is a heavy influence on me as a vocalist, and I mean I can go on a list for those, but I mean. And that also drives me crazy. Is a lot of times I'll bring up Disturbed, and a lot of people I bring up Disturbed too. Like whenever I bring them up, they have to go on a fucking tirade about how much they hate Disturbed. And it's like, God damn, well, I kind of feel shitty for liking them now.
It's not even just Disturbed. It's like bands like Five Finger Death Punch and fucking, the list goes on. But it's like
any highly successful band.
Yeah, but then it's like there's people that they enjoy Slipknot, but they absolutely hate how big Corey Taylor is with like because he's got Stone Sour and his solo project, which I'll put it this way: was I a fan of the album with CMFT? I enjoyed it. It was such a fun album to listen to. It's not my favorite for the year, but I still enjoy listening to it. It was fun. But when it comes to Disturbed as well, it's like I don't understand why like people's like, oh, you like Disturbed, and why the underground scene absolutely hates, or why musicians would hate it as well, and why you would get that reaction. I mean, hell, I'll turn my camera a little bit, but just to show you. So all the way in the back corner, you can see right there with that vinyl album that's up there.
Oh, I see it right there.
Yeah, that's their the special press from the Believe album, which came out in 2002. They released a special press of it last year, and all 4 members of the band signed it, so it's hanging up my wall. I also have the Israel flag that they created when they went over to Israel last year. I have that hanging up on the wall as well. So it's because
hell yeah.
Disturbed was like the first full band that I actually have ever considered like my favorite band. There's only 2 bands that were considered my favorite band. First was Disturbed, then all of a sudden in high school, it became Rise Against, and I haven't stopped since. Have I stopped listening to Disturbed? Yeah. No, hell no. When I've done my list, Disturbed is still number 3 on my list. The only band that is between Rise Against and Disturbed is Ice Nine Kills. That's it.
Word. Okay. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they're badass. They were on Shiprock this year.
Oh, yeah. That was insane. I wish I could have been there.
They threw it down, man. And, dude, we're trying to get on that as well. I mean, we're trying to get on anything. That's another thing. Shiprock is also like a lot of the lineup has chosen a lot of people's surveys that they do at the end of the boat, who they want to see. Honestly, a good example of that was Suicidal Tendencies. Like so many people put that they wanted to be there, and they were there last year, and that was awesome. I actually was in line getting food with Mike, which was pretty cool. So I didn't get a picture with him, but I got to speak with him for a little bit. And I mean, you're walking around, you see all these people, and it's cool. You get to talk to them. And then Seven Dust were on there last year. I know those guys. I've sang on stage with Seven Dust. So I love those dudes. Yeah, I sang Splinter with them in Baton Rouge in 2014. I don't know. I still don't really understand. Like, I can't even explain how, but yeah, that's a big thing I do is like, look, take this, but put Ventruss on your survey next year, and maybe we'll get on. Or either that or as a stowaway, because they have this group of musicians that jam out. They play whatever songs here and there. And I mean, if I can get on as a stowaway, or if Jesse can get on as a stowaway, if one of us can get on as a stowaway, that's a foot in the door. Because there's musicians that have played as stowaways, but their bands have never played yet. So I want to say somebody from Saul was a stowaway. Man.
It was probably either Blake or Zach, or maybe Miles, their drummer, because Miles is a fucking good drummer.
I want to say I'm trying to remember if they were a stowaway. Now there were a lot of stowaways that didn't show this year, like Rob from Non-Point. I didn't see him on the boat. Yeah, there's a few stowaways that didn't show. I think probably because that was like the beginning of the COVID era, so things were kind of rough.
Yeah, but if it was one of the guys, if it was Miles or any of the Bedsall brothers, either Blake or Zach, holy crap, you got freaking lucky on that one. My God. But when it comes to festivals now, it's because I kind of want to conclude on this point as well, but I want to get your guys' take on this as well, where with festivals now going into 2021, and we'll see what they end up with a lot of festivals are trying to redo what we're going to do in 2020 and recreate those lamps again, and it makes sense. But you're going to get some places like Blue Ridge Festival, which what they did was what you guys were talking about, where they asked the fans what they wanted to see, and taking a look at the lamp they had for 2020, they're trying to roll over to 2021, is absolutely insane. They got bands like Motionless in White, A Falling in Reverse, Ice Nine Kills, I think Sleeping with Sirens is on there as well. They're trying to have like people to ask like what kind of reunion you wanted to see that wasn't a thing, and the two top ones were Attack. Well, Attack reunion they're coming back, so that's happening. But the biggest one, and now it looks like it might easily happen, is Flyleaf with Lacey Sturm returning. That's what people wanted to see, and that's what they voted on.
That's crazy.
That's how they're trying to build that lineup, and it's going to be absolutely massive. But taking a look at some of the lineups right now for other shows that I want to go see, specifically Rockfest here in Wisconsin, because I got a whole entire idea to rent a Winnebago and set up my own like little proxy interview station in there and have a bunch of the bands that I can get show up and just hang out a little bit, talk, do a little bit of a podcast, like a 15-minute thing. If they drink, have a beer with me. If they drink hard liquor, I'll have that as well. If they don't drink, I'll have Gatorade, water, soda, whatever it might be, just to basically like a come on, hang out a little bit. If you guys want something to drink, I got you covered kind of thing. And I've looked at the lineup, and it's like there's some big hitters on there where it's like, would I love to have Disturbed on the show? Oh, hell yeah. I'd love to talk to David Draymond. I'd be like, okay, where do I start? But then I took a look further down the lineup, and it's like there's a lot of bands that people aren't that well versed in, but I absolutely love them because I've talked to them on the podcast. I've listened to their music. I'm like, holy shit, I want to basically meet these people in person and hear what they have to say, get to know them a little bit more, and help them grow their band. Because all of a sudden, what happens if all of a sudden, people start seeing all these bands coming in and out of my little Winnebago, just coming hanging out a little bit? People are going to ask who I'm interviewing, who they should be seeing. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to point them in all these different directions, and they're going to go see these bands, and they're going to start absolutely enjoying them. So if Ventruss is on one of those lineups, hell yeah, I'm pointing them your way. Are you fucking kidding me? What else would I do?
Great.
But my question is to you guys, when it comes to festivals going into 2021, with some festivals not happening anymore, like Rock USA here in Wisconsin, the company that runs them declared bankruptcy, so they're not having that anymore. And just with a bunch of bands that are going to be wanting to tour, because everyone's going to be wanting to tour once 2021 hits and once we're able to start touring again. When it comes to trying to play festivals, what are you guys going to do to stand out to make sure that you get on those lineups?
Shit, just write the best music that we possibly can, put on the best shows that we possibly can, build our fan base as much as we can, until we get to those points. But we're not stopping until we get there, man. Like we are literally aiming for aftershock.
That's something. Yeah, that's something to point out is like, we just went through an album cycle that lasted 2 years off our previous EP, which is the one like with Psychosis on it. That's the one you listened to. Mm-hmm. And then right now we're in the middle of writing a whole new album and this is the difference though, with our previous EP and the EP before it, our fans knew the songs because before I was in the band, they were like, playing shows, touring, and people already knew the songs. So when both EPs came out, people already knew what to expect live. So it just amplified the situation where it just gave us something more to market and to push. But, now we're in a position where our fans don't know what to expect. They don't know what's coming. And like, we're writing a whole brand new album right now. And it's probably one of, like, musically speaking, it's probably one of my favorite works I've ever done, like creative wise. Like there's songs that there's songs where like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but there's songs where like what I wrote, I know is gonna touch someone's heart. Like, cause that's how I like to write. I like to write, off of what I'm going through, physically in life or emotionally, and it shows. And with the previous EPs, I never really had that much impact to the music, or, not much say because the songs were already written. I've helped a little bit. You could definitely hear a little bit of the side where I come in, but with this new album, I feel more proud of what I wrote for the band's sake. And also there's songs that Ben, when we were in the studio, and Ben was trying to write harmonies, and he literally, like, we both looked at each other whenever Ben was singing to the guitar parts, and it's like it just fits so well, and you could definitely hear there's something different about this. And we both looked at each other like we're proud men. Like this is more than just an album. This is like something big that we're going to try to do with this. So, and that's the thing. No one knows what to expect, and we're very anxious to get it out and to see how it does when we release it, you know. And it's the perfect time, you know, to if there's anything to intervene with the band, if there's anything to prepare for, it is right now. Because, you know, when shit gets back open again, like, we aren't taking no mercy. We're going all the way with this, like, no matter what. And like, to you know, we're going to do everything we can physically possible to make this band, you know, get to that next level. 'Cause that's what we all want. You know, that's something we've been craving for as kids. You know, you get inspired, you know. That's why, like Jack Black, he said in the movie School of Rock, he's like, one great rock show can change the world. And that stuck with me for so long. And it really does. It really can change the world. So with that being said, everything that we've worked up to this moment, creative wise and just, you know, on every aspect, we are going to do everything we can physically, you know, to make this work. And we're really excited and really proud. So yeah.
I'll say that's
sorry for that rant.
Oh, that's fine. I'll say that's the key of it all, is just you guys got new music in the works. You guys are trying to get on as many festivals as you can. And the biggest key is just to make sure that as many people know about it and are aware of it, and that you are connecting with as many people as possible once these live shows come back, once these festivals come back, and once the music comes out, so that it's in your band is in the minds of people before it even happens. So
exactly.
When it comes out, you guys are in the forefront of their minds, and all of a sudden they're going to be requesting you at these festivals. They're going to be requesting you to be on tour with people, and all of a sudden these bands are not going to be able to say no anymore. These bands are going to be looking at you. They're going to be requesting you, not you requesting them. Something I see that's happening, like with what happened, basically what's going to happen with Saul going forward is, I can easily tell bands are going to be requesting to have Saul open up for them because they're so damn good. And you guys can easily follow along suit with that, but it all depends upon how hard you grind right now and how hard you continue to grind going forward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And on that note, I think that perfectly wraps it up at this point. Like, just keep grinding, my guys, because if you guys went from a local band to a regional band, you're starting to move up the East Coast with your influence, just keep on focusing on what you guys are doing. Keep on grinding out, because it is fucking working.
Thank you, man. It's not stopping. We got more ground to cover, and you know, this won't be the last you hear of us, sir.
Oh, this better not be the last I hear you guys. Well, I know it's not going to be the last I hear you, because Brian and Jesse and Attila from MVK Music Group are not going to let me forget you guys no matter what.
Fuck yeah, that's dude.
They're the greatest, man. We really love Maverick and everyone who represents them, and we're very excited and pleased. And we're really excited to be on this podcast. So thank you for having us, man.
Well, thanks for being on, guys. And before we send you on your merry way, and so Ben can turn that fan back on, don't worry, I totally understand, because I keep seeing you like sweating and like wiping your forehead off. Earlier this year,
I checked my temperature and my fever is starting to come. So
I was gonna say, because I thought it was like just with the fan not being on, because I've dealt with a loud AC unit and with no AC beforehand while doing these podcasts in like 90-degree heat. So I've sweated before. Shit. Plus, I've also done a podcast the day after I got my appendix removed, so that was fun. So I totally get having to go through some of this stuff. So I respect it fully. But before I send you guys on your merry way, I always like to give you guys a chance to say your last words on the podcast before we sign off and let you guys ride into the next adventure. So, you guys got any last words? Say now's the time.
Let's go. Check out our Facebook page. Our website will be coming soon. We got merch on there. We've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. We're on everything. Stream our music, buy our music, whatever you prefer to do. We're on everything, and be looking forward to more music coming soon. Video potentially released in January. So check that out. Jesse, finish them off.
Yes. So we also, with that being said, we have a brand new music video coming out called Talladega, and we don't have the exact release date on it yet, but it's in the works, and we're going to be basically putting that music video on our website when that website is up and running. So that way, once we release it, everyone knows we have a new music video out and that we have a new website out. So always be on the lookout. Follow us. We love you. And you're welcome to the Ventruss family.
And I will close with this as I always do. So everything when it comes to following them, streaming their music, where you can buy their music, instead of having to look them up, all you have to do is take a look at the description of the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and iHeartRadio, because I'm going to have all the links for all their crap there. And when they come out with their website and their merch, they better send it to me so I can add it to it. So if you guys are checking this out after that happens, it'll be there for you guys to check out their website, buy some merch, and whatever you do, again, like, follow, share, subscribe, stream, buy all their stuff, and take a look at the bottom of this podcast episode in the video, because it's going to say something like, request them to be at your favorite music festival. And that's a call to action, guys. You're going to have to do it. So Ben and just from Ventruss, I want to thank you guys for being on the Chord Progression Podcast. And I am not going to end this with a goodbye, because this was so much fun. I'd love to have you guys on again. I'd love to see you guys play live and buy you a beer the first time I see you. You are now part of the First Rounds on Me Club, and I cannot say goodbye in good conscience. I'm going to have to end with, see you later.
100%. See you later, brother.
Later, dog.
See you guys later. Whoa, folks. That's my interview with Jesse and Ben from the band Ventruss out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Be sure to be on the lookout for them, and be sure to request them to be featured at your local rock and metal music festival, or any rock and metal music festival you be going to, because these guys, you're going to want to listen, you're going to want to have them at one of those festivals and just help them out, man, because they are great guys. So again, I want to thank them for being on the show once again, and I can't wait to see these guys live, have them back on the show in 2021. It's going to be a hoot and a holler, and it's going to be a grand old time. But that's me for me, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast, where MSOGD rocks, where rock and metal thrive. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of these episodes, the big, healthy, and hearty. See